stress-free, leave your kids at home. Leave your kids at home. Do your two-step, get your groove on. This is feel-good music, you can move on. Relax, stress-free, leave your kids at home. Leave your kids at home.
Yeah. What's going on, everybody? It is Tuesday night. You know where we are. You know what we do. You know who I am. It is your man, the Homesick Buckeye, with everybody's favorite Rick Charger Mopar.
Quack, quack.
So they changed something. Our names aren't on the bottom of the screens. I can't, this technology stuff, man. Sometimes I get lost. But either way, we are here on the can with the fam on YouTube, not the gram. And hope you guys are having a great day, a great week so far. I know it's hot amongst a big part of the country there. So, if you're struggling and sweating, I sympathize with you. I'm in Florida here. There's plenty of sweating going on down here. That is for sure. But, got to try to find the silver lining. How you doing, Rick? How you been, brother?
Not bad. Just the usual. Work's a little slow, so I've been trying to do some stuff around the house, but I do get calls occasionally, so that's good. Had to fix an air conditioner today. That's one good thing about this hot weather. That's a constant source of income.
I would say so. There's probably a lot of air conditioners to be fixed around here. Let's see who's in the room. We got a shout out to the regulars, shout out to the family. The Pharaoh Grandma is here. Good to see you, beloved. Glad you are here with us tonight. She says, please pray for me. My daughter just microwaved some plants. It smells awful. What kind of plants is she microwaving tonight there, FG? Let's see here. Aerosolized plant toxins. That's right. That's funny. Pharaoh, she said, I have a glass of iced tea, butterballs in the fridge if I need them. I love that. I do a lot of tea. I'm a tea drinker too. Green tea, black tea. So
I don't put leaves in my water.
Allulose, monk fruit extract there. I don't like it super sweet, just a slight hint of sweetness. But Noslo is here. Good to see you. Says, don't be calm, stop, drop, and roll to the front. That's right. Lizzie is here. Good evening, beloved. Glad to see you. Glad you're here with us. Jiffy. Good to see you, beloved. Glad you're here with us tonight. Sandy is here she's down the road a ways there. Good to see you, beloved. Our man Bill. Bill is here. Bill Cook. He's a regular. Love that. Oh, we got a Charlie sighting tonight. Love that. That's my man. Good to see you, Darth. May the fat be with you. Our guy Pete, Papa Carnivore in the building. Love it.
Quack.
Good to see you. Terry Sue says she's just in time. You most certainly are, beloved. Come on in. See what we can get into tonight. You know how it is. As always, if you have a question or something, throw it in the chat. If you want to come on live with us, the link is in the chat. Come on in. We won't bite. I can't speak for Rick, but I won't bite you. So, Lori, what's here? Hello there, beloved. Good to see you. Kitchen Witch hanging out with the Quacks and Russ. That's right. We got Quack Heart Attack in the flesh right here with us.
Mm-hmm.
So, it says the week just got better. Let's see if we can ruin that for you. Yeah. Oh, yes. Listen, football season is definitely getting close. My Buckeyes are going to try to repeat as champions, and we'll see how that goes. Lost a lot of players. I don't know if we got any college football fans out there. If you got a team you like, shout out your team in here in the chat. Let folks know who you root for. I think this is Fake Carrie is here. Homestead Hack. Good to see you.
Good to have you here.
Homestead Hack is in the building. Good. Hey, bro, as long as you act like you got some sense, you're welcome here, man. As long as you're not disruptive, it's all good. He says, Rick, have you cooked that brisket? There's our first question of the evening.
Not yet. I'm still sectioning it up.
Yeah. My God, Lisa's here. Good evening, beloved. She says, "Good evening, everyone." Sally says, "Russ, I'll take the heat in Florida any day instead of a hurricane." Yeah, you live far enough inland. I don't think you get a lot of that. But I'll tell you, I got some friends in Lake City area, and see, a lot of people don't understand when those hurricanes hit land, they break off into a bunch of other little storms. And those little storms that they break up into can be, man, it doesn't have to be a hurricane to knock some stuff around, blow some stuff around. So Lake City doesn't get, it's far enough inland, it doesn't really get, any hurricane damage, but they catch everything coming off that Gulf Coast because, it's in the western part of kind of central western uh Florida there. So they get a lot of tornadoes and bad storms and stuff like that. So yeah. Says some mixtures. Hey, that's funny. Brussels sprouts, cauliflower. Yeah, listen, I can't. I got to be honest with the family. There, I have a little bit of cauliflower rice in there. I'm gonna tell you something, okay? And I'm sure some of the smart people in here. Shout out to my man Cranky. He's probably hiding somewhere. I don't know if my sister Laura's gonna be in here, but I'm suffering the ill effects from several days of oxtails. Uh, and I ate the last. What's today's Tuesday? I ate the last of them Sunday night, and so yeah, a little bit Monday and a little bit today was the last. It's kind of like a storm that passes through. It's like it's like the last gust of wind from the oxtail storm. And I'll tell you something, we've learned from our wonderful scientists and doctors that fiber in fruit, for instance, slows the uptake of sugar into the system. Same with vegetables. I'm convinced that the fiber from some vegetables can also slow the outtake of we'll call it oxtail poisoning. Sometimes, man, a little bit of cauliflower might slow down. Hey, it's like putting speed bumps on the autobahn.
Somebody hit too much fat.
Yeah, man. And I blame my sister Laura for that. Wherever she's at, I blame her for that because she's always telling me, eat more fat, eat more fat. I'm like, okay, well, you don't live here. And you don't have to be a productive member of society over on this side of the world. So, yeah, you can eat all the fat you want. But over here on my side of the world, I just got to be, I got to, just be careful. So
I never had that problem.
Yeah, I guess you guys are, better at it than me. Again, everybody's different.
Mhm.
I don't know that I'll ever be at that level where I can just eat, 10 pounds of fat and live to tell about it. I don't know. My man Chance is here. Good to see you. Ard, brother. Let's see here what else we got. I think it says oxtails are pretty rich. Yeah. I gave up eating the oxtails by themselves. A long time ago. I made the mistake of making some oxtails and then going on a road trip. Yeah, that was a mistake. Yeah, hey, I survived the road trip. The oxtails did not. They barely made it to the first stop because I'm like, yeah, I can't do this for the next 3 or 4 days. And so I learned that lesson kind of, and so I started mixing them with things. I started mixing them with roast. I started mixing them with ground beef, and much better experience. But even then, sometimes the mix isn't, 50-50, or the mix is really more like 70-30. And so you end up with a little bit of a little more than you need. And, but as I said, I think it does help to slow down the highway a little bit sometimes there. Bill says fiber just becomes crap. That's exactly right. You need fiber to sell toilet paper. That's what I tell people. That's for. That's why they tell you need it. Yes, yes, Laura. Yes, that's exactly right. We try to keep it a family show here. We try not to be. Yes, yes. We try not to be too much. Pants go brown.
It's a number 2 express.
Yes, exactly. Take the number 2 train. So anyway, so it was 500. Yeah, but in the meantime, man, I got things to do, man. That's what I get for eating them too many on a weekday. See, on a Friday, you could do that, man. But I should have known better on a Sunday. I got things to do, man. I got places to go, people to see.
Well, you got to admit, on this channel, we talk crap real quick.
Yeah. Dark says, I still don't. Man, you people are disgusting. You're just a disgusting lot of people. I don't know why I come here. Oh, but otherwise a pretty good day, of course, coming to you live from the solar-powered studios. And I have something exciting that happened. I've been here for, let's see, good grief, 6 or 7 years I've been here. And this week, we got gigabit internet in the neighborhood, if you can believe such a thing.
Amazing.
Okay, I have been here for 6 years, running on 75 megabit or 75 meg service, which, it's just me, and I don't play video games and all that stuff, and I don't download bunches of movies and stuff. And really, if you're just doing run-of-the-mill kind of business stuff, 75 megs is plenty. But it is nicer. Definitely, things are moving along much quicker. Not just in my intestinal tract, but
you're the envy of the vegans now.
Yeah. So the highest speed they had available in this area was 500. So I'm like, yeah, might as well do that. So yeah. So now I have 500 meg service here. So I'm cooking with hot grease, everybody, in the YouTube studio and in the kitchen. So I'm excited about that. Let's see here. Oh, graceful. Lily is here. Welcome, beloved. So glad to have you here with us, just hanging out. Seeing what we can see here. Any questions? It's an example that you're about it. Yeah, I just haven't been able to. I can eat a moderate amount. It's like, it has to be a pretty significant amount for it really to tip me over the edge, but not as much as some of those folks. All right. Darth Carnivore says, has anyone seen the animal documentary? I have not seen it yet, but I've heard about it from folks. And if so, thoughts. Have you seen it, Rick?
How would I see it? It doesn't come on VHS.
No, it's an internet thing. It's like a.
Oh, well, I don't have streaming service. I'd have to get it on VHS.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I think I don't know if it's on YouTube or Amazon Prime or something like that,
it's on Amazon, but I don't use Amazon.
Yeah, it's an internet kind of thing. And hey, look, if it's on the internet, somebody's bootlegging it somewhere. There's probably some rogue vegan group out there bootlegging the thing.
I've been checking the torrents. I haven't seen anything.
Yeah. Well, I heard, and again, I haven't seen it, so I hate to. Yeah, but from what I heard, it was basically just a love fest of YouTubers. It wasn't anything, it was just a collection of all of our favorite docs, just talking about things and that. It wasn't. That's what I heard. I don't know for sure. I want to preface that I didn't see it, so I don't want anybody to say no, it's not. I just heard that it was like basically one big, YouTube influencer, party.
That's what they all are, isn't it?
Speaking of party, it's not a party until Meathead is here. What's going on?
Hey, man.
Hey, evening.
What's going on, fellas? I got Rick. I got Meathead with us here. How you doing, brother?
Evening, both of you. Doing good. How about yourselves?
Just hanging out here, man, on a Tuesday night. Just hanging out with the family. You know how it is, man. I
Yep.
don't think I've had the pleasure of meeting you, and if I have, I'm sorry. I smoked a lot of bad weed, years ago, so I don't remember lots of things. Did I ever met you before?
I don't remember. I don't think. No, I haven't been on cam until a few weeks ago.
Gotcha. Well, I meet a
So,
lot of people at meetups and different functions and things.
no.
Like I said, I don't always remember. People remember me, and they're like, "Remember, I met you at so and so." I'm like, "I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I have to be honest." But welcome, brother. We're glad you're here, man.
Thank you.
The more the
Thank you.
merrier. Now, did you
Thank
come
you.
up just to hang out, or did you have something specific you wanted to talk about?
Well, I came in to hang out while my wife's on the phone with her parents, and I got some
Oh,
free
yeah.
time, some leisure time to spend with the guys. So,
Love it, man. Love it. Where are you from?
my mother.
Okay.
No.
Hey, we like jokes around here, man. We're all about it. We're all about it.
I'm originally from Michigan.
Oh, okay. Well, nice to meet you, Meathead, and
Thank you.
but happy happy trails to you. Best of luck to you. I'm kidding, brother. It's all love, man. You see the big Buckeye background there behind me there. So,
Unfortunately, I'm a Notre Dame fan.
oh, now listen, I will have you know.
I will have you know.
They are next in line. There's nobody I hate worse than Michigan. Notre Dame is next. So there you go. So you're ahead of them anyway.
Yep.
That's all right, man. We're just messing with you.
No, it's all good.
Yeah. So how long you been in the? I'm guessing you're a ketogenic advocate, a carnivores.
No, I'm not. I'm not into eating weeds and plants or
Yeah.
smoking it. So,
Yeah.
honestly, if your diet is whole foods, I don't have a problem with it.
Absolutely.
I've been a carnivore for a little over a year.
Yeah, love that. Yeah, this is a non-judgmental space. I don't care what you eat, man. You can have a donut in your hand for all I care. We don't judge here. We're going to try to convince you that that's not the best thing for you, but we don't judge. And people have to get to this thing in their own time, in their own way, and find their own path. But,
Exactly.
I'm an advocate of ketogenic diets. All the keep the fats and the proteins high and the carbs low.
Yep.
You're winning. And
There you go.
everybody's not gonna do lion diet. In fact, most people
Right.
aren't gonna do lion diet. So, so yeah. So what kind of how can I say this? What got you on that path? Where did you start?
Oh, well,
hearing about?
that's going to be released in my interview today. Rick, my apologies.
No.
I mentioned something to Rick before about breaking my cherry and doing my first interview.
Love it.
I let Bob from Carnivore Talk do my first interview,
Good.
and there's some dead space and whatnot, but my problem is I like having everything on paper. I can read it and go through everything, but it was okay. There's a lot more to my story than I got out. So
you did an interview with Rick. When's that going to be out, or is it already?
No. I did an interview with Bob from CarnivoreTalk.com.
Gotcha.
And then whoever offers me the next interview, I'll do. My best times are Mondays and Tuesdays.
Gotcha, man. Gotcha.
You're just putting it out there,
Yeah, well, you've been doing it for a year, and so obviously you're sticking with it. It must be doing some good things for you.
Yes.
Love that, man. Go ahead, Rick. You're going to say something?
No, I was going to say that right here are the only two carnivores that have actually, let's just say, given me carnivore goodies.
Well, hey, man, we do what we can, brother. We appreciate you.
The only way I can support you, give you support without a middleman other than Milton getting his paws on your stuff.
Yeah. Milton's a middle. He's a middleman. Bill Cook has bought it. Like it has all my favorite doctors. I guess he's talking about the animal documentary. Like I said, I do plan on watching it. Yeah, I'm a big fan of all those guys, obviously. So I definitely will watch it. But from what I've heard, it's kind of just what they do on their channels, just kind of all in a big one place.
Is it like regurgitated?
I haven't seen it, so I had to say, but I've had 2 or 3 people say, yeah, it was basically just like one big YouTube video of all the different docs talking about the diet and all that kind of stuff. Just typical fare for us. It may be new to some people, but if you're familiar with Barry and Chafee and Kiltz and all those guys, you've kind of seen them, heard them. I'm sorry. You're muted there. I didn't hear you, brother. Can you hear him, Rick? I can't hear him.
No, I don't hear him. He's muted.
No, can't hear you, brother. You can see your mouth moving, but for some reason,
it's not muted on the thing. It's weird.
Yeah, we just lost your audio. I don't know, brother. You may come out and come back in, but you're not muted here. And I cannot hear you. Neither of us can hear you. Can you guys hear him out in the chat by chance? I don't know if you put in the chat if you can hear him. Nope, don't hear you.
I mean, you can hear me fine, right? Oh, there we go. He'll log out,
log
in.
Okay, while he's getting that together. It just says don't oxtail and drive. That's right. under the influence. Yeah, it was we made more stops than we wanted to.
Yeah, he sent me a delicious brisket yesterday. I made a video of it. It's going to be delicious.
I love that. It sounds like some folks know him in the group, and again, we love it. The more the merrier. Come on. We love it. Says Jamie has the most generous carnivore. Let's see here. Gotcha. Said it's not something.
Here we go.
How about that?
Can you hear me now?
I hear you.
Yeah, we hear you, brother. We lost you somewhere, but you are back. Go ahead. You were going to say something?
I forgot what I was going to say.
I thought you said who is something. I thought you said who.
Oh, is Ford Brewer, Dr. Ford Brewer? Is he in there?
Again, I don't know for sure. I haven't seen it, but from some of you folks that have seen it, you can if you can answer these questions, just put it in the chat. If Ford Brewer is in there, I know I heard.
I know Dr. Sideways. He lost me when he.
Oh, carb crap.
When he was talking about the carbs and carnivore and insulin. So yeah, I don't have much love for him anymore.
What did he say? Like he said, it's good to put cyclosamine in or something.
He was saying afraid, and he said there was proof, I guess, if you're carnivore for too long, you're not going to be able to produce insulin after whatever period of time. So you are not going to have a defense if you were to consume carbs. So yes, you need to cycle in carbs. But Rick,
he's not the first one. He's not the first one to say that. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you know who Ben Bickman is. You probably do if you've been around the space. Now, he's not a medical doctor. He's a scientific doctor, and he has said things like that as well, that you want to obviously keep them low, but that the body, you have insulin for a reason. You have these things for a reason. So I'm not a doctor. I just think my honestly, what I think is, I don't know if you're a person who believes in God and that kind of stuff, but I think that God made all these things for us. Unfortunately, man has taken it, and the profit motive is in there, and so they manufacture these foods and stuff for us and get us sick so they can all make money. But I don't think there's a problem with somebody eating a few berries, or if you like some vegetables here and there. I mean, I think God gave us all this stuff, so it's just you got to know how to use it properly.
Yeah, but it's no different than the doctors saying the situation with cholesterol and feeding the malarkey with that.
Yeah.
Somebody pushing this narrative until there's proof, until there's been studies done, which I don't think it's going to be done in my lifetime. Uh, I'm not going to believe it, and it's just more nonsense like that sugar diet.
Oh,
Oh yeah, that's garbage. Yeah.
Okay.
And let me tell you something that I told Dr. Perry, and he agreed with me a long time ago. The studies have been done. They'll never see the light of day.
Oh,
Because they don't support the narrative. I mean, how can Kellogg's come out with a study that says Frosted Flakes ain't great? I mean, how can they do that? How can General Mills come out with a study proving that oatmeal is not heart healthy? I mean, it's just never going to happen. They've done the studies. They have more doctors and researchers on staff than most hospitals. They know, and they squash it. They squash the studies and anything. That's why if you talk to anybody in our field, shout out to Dave Feldman and other people who are doing their own grassroots research and trying to raise money to do their own studies. It's like, you can't get a study done. They won't fund it. They poo-poo it because they already know what it says.
it would decimate the economy.
Absolutely. I've heard even Dr. Seifert say this, the cancer research. He's like, until they come up with something to substitute to replace the billions of dollars they get from cancer treatments, you're not gonna see a change. Something's got to replace that money because there's no money in healing. Money is in treatment.
There you go.
So
can you imagine if the average person was like me? What would happen to the medical system?
Sure. I mean, people are always going to break bones and have, problems and things like that. That's part, but you're right. The chronic illnesses, where you got to come in here every 30, 60, 90 days, get these labs, get this copay, take these tests, take this blood. Those things are what goes away.
Same thing with a dentist. I haven't been to a dentist since 1986. And I don't have any broken teeth, I don't have any cavities.
And your breath is about to melt that microphone, brother. I'm just telling you.
Oh, this is metal.
I know. I'm kidding, brother. I'm kidding.
I do have something funny to share with you.
Sure.
Because this job I got, I hurt myself at work and they put me on restrictions. They want me to get doctor wants me to get surgery, but they said you need a cardiologist release because of your stent. I'm like, okay, well, it's unfortunate, but I fired my cardiologist before I got this job because he was such a D-bag.
Yeah.
And so I go back to the same crew of people. And when I made the appointment, they were like, oh, you're this person. I said, yes, this is my former doctor. And they started laughing because I made I was not nice when I fired him. And so I'm like, I need a cardiologist. I just need a release. That's it. I'm not here to kowtow to listen to their garbage about statins or whatnot. So I get in there, I see this new doctor, and he's like, listen, first he's like talking to me about my cholesterol, my blood work, the last he knew, and he's like, well, I really suggest you take a statin. And I said, well, I would suggest you get some education on nutrition. When you can prove to me my liver is trying to kill me because it makes up 80% of the cholesterol in the human body, I'll take your statin. He says, but you have to understand, my parents have high cholesterol and I put them on a statin. And I wanted to tell him, you're just trying to kill your parents.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the heart to. Then he says, well, let me listen to your heart. So he listens and he's like, oh. I said, what? And he says, you have an extra beat. He says, I need to order an EKG. I said, so what does that mean? He says, I'm not going to release you until you have the EKG. I said, so what you're telling me is you're going to blackmail me. And then he got irate. he just blew up and started screaming at me. And I'm like, dude, I don't need your attitude. You know, I'm not going to yell at you. I'm not going to raise my voice, but I don't need your attitude. You know, you're working for me, but you're here to tell me that you're not going to release me until I get this EKG. So let's get it done so I can get out of your hair. You can get out of my space, and we can go on with our happy lives. But yeah, he made me have an EKG just so he could bilk more money.
Yeah. Speaking of bad attitude, look who it is, everybody.
Hey, Papa.
Hey. What's going on, meathead?
He shouted out to Mr. Meathead there.
I can't hear him.
Can you hear me now?
Papa.
Can you hear me?
You okay?
I hear you. I hear you, Pete.
I hear him, but he's delayed.
Yeah.
I'm delayed?
Well, wait. Yeah. I'm going to read a few comments here. Hold on just a second, Pete. Darth says no Ford Brewer. Ford Brewer is not in the thing. And then Farrell Grandma says she didn't see Dr. Hampton in there either.
Wow.
So no Ford Brewer, no Hampton. But
should I go back out and then come back in? Maybe that's it.
I hear you fine. You can try. You can try. I don't know. Maybe it's screwing up tonight. I don't know. But I hear you fine. But yeah, go out and come back in and see if that refreshes. We'll try it. Let's see here. Bill says, I think you could easily produce insulin. May have to work up to producing more, sort of go backwards. Let's see what you got. Here, let's try.
How's that? Any better?
I hear you.
Yeah, I hear you good.
Okay.
He says he can't hear you.
I am gonna tell you what I'll do.
Yeah, our guy Meathead's having a heck of a problem here.
I can hear you guys fine.
I hear you now, and you're not delayed anymore.
Oh, good. Well, I used my anti-delay duck call.
Pull the ducktail.
Yeah.
I just ate a gigantic, huge T-bone steak.
Nice.
Love it.
I didn't think I was going to be able to eat the whole thing, but I conjured up Rick, and I said, you know, if Rick could eat Rick would eat 2 of these probably. So I'm like, as I'm struggling, I'm like, come on, don't be weak.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
T-bones can be big.
I know.
Yeah. I got pulled some ground beef out of the fridge, out of the freezer earlier today. When we're done here, I'm probably gonna go fry that up. I think
I messed up, Rick. I meant to go to Fresco y Mas on the way in, and I forgot, so I missed out on the drumsticks.
Oh, that's a shame. You'll have to wait another week or 2 before they're on sale again.
Yeah.
One thing I would have a question for Dr. Seawees, or I can't remember how he Sivas, yes. He's a Michigan guy too, so
he's a Michigan guy?
I think so. I thought I saw that he went to the University of Michigan. I could be wrong. I could be confusing him, but I thought,
boy, Bart K ripped him a new one, boy. When he was talking about, if he admitted that he's obese. He admitted, I intentionally am obese. That was hilarious. I'm like, and Dr. Bart K is like, what do you mean you're intentionally obese? What are you talking about? Well, you have this insulin suppression. I'm like, what the hell? Bart K is like, there is no insulin suppression. If you don't eat the sugar and the carbs, your insulin stays low. And if you start to eat some, then it goes up. It's like it's a natural response in the body.
Well, I've never been a huge fan. I know who he is, and I've seen a few of his videos, but he's not a guy I follow. But everything you eat raises your blood sugar. It doesn't spike it, but if you eat if you take your blood sugar before you eat a big, thick steak and then take it afterwards, it goes up.
Well, what he was saying is that long-term carnivore is not good, that it's bad.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, all I could think of was poor Rick.
Yep.
He doesn't know.
I know
how dangerous what he's doing is.
I totally agree with you. But my first question for him would have been, but you need insulin still, even if you're carnivore. If you're a carnivore and you wear a CGM, it doesn't stay at the same level. It does go
Well,
up and
just
down.
remember,
It
your
doesn't go
body,
crazy.
even if you don't eat carbs, your body still does
Sure.
gluconeogenesis, right? We
Right,
all
right.
know that. And then also, what Bart K said is that even if you eat a lot of carbs, your body still does gluconeogenesis on whatever amount of protein you eat. It doesn't just shut off because you're eating carbs, he said.
Right.
Well,
But all you're doing is overloading your system with too much carbs.
Well, I think what his point was he's trying to make is he was trying to push it like our appendix is our former cecum,
Right.
and of course we can't process vegetables like bottom gut like gorillas,
right,
or elephants or anything like that. So I think his point was, if it's going to end up like the appendix, and then you're not going to have insulin. Well, I'm afraid to say that how long have we? I'm sorry, but how long have we thrived? Millions of years.
You're right. What I always tell people that my standard comeback is, if somehow eating red meat was bad for humans, Dr. Berry says this all the time, then we would be extinct, because humans have been super carnivores. Look at the cave paintings. It's not broccoli, man. It's a big woolly animal with a little stick figure with a spear. Okay, it's basically Rick on the wall. You know what I mean?
Well,
it may not be ducks, but it's just some giant animal.
It's a big iguana.
It's not only that. It's not only that, but and I use this with vegans and vegetarians whenever I get to sparring with them.
Yeah.
We know that there's no such thing as an essential carbohydrate. I don't think that can be argued. Now, there's only 3 macronutrients on the planet. And if one of them is non-essential, I mean, that by definition makes the other two.
But don't they come back with Russ? Don't they come back with, oh no, they are essential. You must have fruits and vegetables and grains and stuff.
Well, if they don't understand science, they do. It depends on what kind of vegan or vegetarian you're talking to. If you're talking to one that's just climate science or some goofy, but if you're talking to a serious, like, nutritionist or somebody that's knowledgeable and understands, they have to admit that. They cannot deny, because it's been proven over and over. I can't think of the specific study, but everybody cites it. I can't think of it. There is no, and that's a government study. There is no such thing as an essential carbohydrate. There is no carbohydrate that you need to live. Our bodies metabolize and fatty acids and proteins. Everything in your body is built from fat and protein, cholesterol. Your body doesn't use glucose to build anything. Glucose is a backup, second-rate source of fuel for the body. The body prefers fat and ketones to burn. That's what it prefers. It will burn glucose in the absence of fat and ketones. But think of this: your brain and your heart both prefer ketones over glucose.
Right.
They don't need it.
It's no different than my car. I can vouch. My friend had a '65 Galaxy 500 with a 352 cubic foot engine, or cubic inch engine. We would go out and play like we ran out of gas when we were kids. And one time we got up to this farmer's house, and he gave us some diesel. My friend's like, well, it'll run. Oh yeah. Well, that's no different than like putting carbohydrates in the human body. You put diesel in a gasoline car and see, it'll run, but you compare the two, it's not going to be good.
I compare it more to octane, but your analogy is great, but I use a similar analogy. It's like octane. It's like, if you got a NASCAR, engine, you can't run 85 octane in that. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's still gasoline, but it's not the grade. It's not, you need a higher octane and fat and even with fat and protein. Protein and fat from an avocado is not the same as protein from beef and lamb. The amino acid profile is completely different. It's third-rate protein and third-rate fat. I call it famine food, because my dad's a big vegetables and fruits guy. He eats meat, but he believes in vegetables and fruits too. Right. And I'm like, that's famine food, man. That's stuff they throw out of helicopters down to people, man. A bunch of beans and rice and stuff like that. And yes, if you look ancestrally at mankind, sometimes the hunt wasn't good. Sometimes there were famines and floods and all kind of different things, winters and stuff like that, where people couldn't get maybe the fatty meats. And so they stored the meats as best they could through, curing and salting things. But then they ate fruits and vegetables and wheat and corn and stuff to get by until they could get to the fatty meat. And that's, I think the proper human diet, fatty meats and here and there, carbs as you desire them, but you don't need them.
Well, why would you desire something that's low quality? And besides, I tell everybody, if the carnivore diet is so bad and it has so many bad effects, why am I still here? Why is it that I have less health issues now than when I was a kid? When I was a little kid, I got terrible sore throats, ear infections, skin problems, all this nasty stuff. I switched to the carnivore diet. That went away. Then when I went back to a plant-based diet, migraine headaches, heat rash, indigestion, gas, feel like crap. The worst flu of my life. Switch back to the carnivore diet. Fine since 93. I haven't had an infection. I haven't had an antibiotic. I haven't had a massive flu problem. I mean, I get bumped and bruised all the time. It doesn't hurt. May hurt for a day or two. I work all the time. I've never been injured. My back is perfect. How many people that are 6'6" that have a good back? How many 57-year-olds that have a head of hair like this? I mean, think about it.
That's a wig.
What's that spray? It's like spray paint, it comes out of a can.
That's Ronco's GLH hairspray.
Yes. Great looking hair. I remember that. Yeah.
All right, we'll get back to the room here, see what the family has to say here. Bill says, I think you could easily produce insulin. May have to work up to producing more, sort of go backwards. You still need insulin when you eat meat. That's kind of, I agree with you 100%. Noslo says, like Mitch said, there's no valid long-term studies of carnivore diet. Another quacking his tail. Hey, Aaron is here. Booby Goat says, hey, meathead. Good to see you, Aaron. Glad you're here, beloved. Bill says, not sure why any carnivore who's done carnivore wild would eat carbs anyway unless you were starving.
Yes.
Some people like a little bit of variety there. I don't criticize it. Dar says there's a lot of cautionary in one carnivore stores out there, a lot of successful ones. We just have to self-experiment, see what's best for you. That's exactly right. Find your health where you're at. I mean, Barry, Hampton, Kiltz, Nelson Vasquez, if you follow Nelson, I follow more their theory of, there's, keep your carbs under a certain amount and you can be optimally healthy. I don't judge people. Let people what you want, but my fight is against misinformation. I don't care what you eat, but if you're eating things like I did for years that you didn't like and that you didn't want because they were telling you it was good for you, that's a problem. I don't like fruit. I've never liked fruit. But I used to eat it all the time because I thought it was good for me. I mean, it's just, that's what my Uncle Mike has got some health problems and things. He eats oatmeal every day because the doctor says it's good for him. I'm like, you are not a horse, man. You do not need oats, but that's what really irks me. If you like oatmeal, eat oatmeal, but not because you think it's doing something for you, because you're being told by the medical establishment that, you need this. So that's, really my fight.
Let me ask you this question, Russ. How many people eat just plain oatmeal with water?
Exactly. You're right.
What they're putting in there is the brown sugar and the maple syrup and the the whatever they put in there. You know what I mean? I mean, come on.
It's funny you should say that because my brother, shout out to, I don't know if they happen to be watching, my brother and sister-in-law were here. And people, if you meet her, doesn't really know me, but most of my family is vegetarians. And much of them. And so we were here. And of course, hey, listen, I give them the business. All right. I'm in full evangelism mode. When they come to these four walls, they're going to get that work. Although they're very supportive, and it's not an adversarial thing. We love each other, and it's not. I don't want to make it like we're fighting or nothing. It's all fun and laugh. We joke and make fun of each other. So we were sitting here talking about it, and that exact same thing came up. I'm like, you don't even like oatmeal, and my sister-in-law goes, yes, I do. I was like, no, you don't. And my nephew was there. He's like, oh, well, I like oatmeal too. I'm said, no, you don't. What you like is the cinnamon and butter and brown sugar that you put in the oatmeal. And
you know what? Tell them if they're right, then tell them, go ahead and show me. I want to see you eat without anything.
That's what I said. And they both sat there for a minute. And my sister-in-law was like, yeah, I put blueberries in mine. So I'm like, yeah, that's what you like. Yeah, you don't like oatmeal. I said, if I went in there and boiled some oats and put them out there, you wouldn't eat that for all the burritos in Mexico.
And it's the same thing. You know what, Russ? It's the exact same thing with salad. They really don't like the lettuce leaves. I mean, they wouldn't just sit there and eat, just the lettuce. And they're adding the croutons and the craisins and nuts and the salad dressing.
I can't. Listen, I can't talk too much about salad. But when I very first started, because I didn't, I'm carnivore now, but I started like many people, keto and kind of work. I say it all the time, the carnivore diet is like jail. It's not some place you go; it's some place you kind of just end up.
Yeah, that's true.
So and I'm telling you, for probably the first 3 months, every day, man, I ate more salad than a rabbit. But I had two salads like they were my go-tos. I would get ground beef and a little salsa, a little guacamole with lettuce and tomatoes, and I would knock it down. That was my one salad, my go-to. And then my other go-to was I would get like maybe 8 or 10 boiled eggs and some cold cuts and some bacon bits or some crumbles, or chop up some bacon and throw it in there on a big bed of lettuce and tomatoes and hit it with a little oil and vinegar and smash it. Those are my two go-to meals like when I first started.
Yeah, listen, so, I started keto. I was eating tons of salad, and I was only eating it because they said it was healthy. I don't like any of that stuff, really.
I like lettuce and tomato on about anything. Hamburgers, you name it. I wouldn't call that a salad. I would just call it lettuce and tomato. But I don't have much use for the rest of it. But I have to say, I mean, I have a taco salad every now and again. I don't eat really much of the guacamole and stuff, but a little salsa, a little sour cream with some, here and there. I will eat some of that. It just breaks the monotony of the ground beef. I mean, I don't. So people can judge. I get all kind of hate about not being carnivore enough or whatever. I don't care. People know I don't care. I got a vegetarian family. They will vouch for my carnivore credentials. I can guarantee it, because I will smash a big ribeye right in front of them.
Speaking of carnivore credentials, since Russ is the only person here that has met me in person, what does he think about my appetite?
Yeah, we've had this conversation many times, man. I'm still trying to figure out how I can monetize Charger Mopar versus Darth Carnivore. There's got to be some kind of paywall, some kind of pay-per-view carnivore pay-per-view channel that I can start, and that'll be Clash of the Titans.
Yeah, it'll be Clash of the Carnivore Titans.
It's King Kong versus Godzilla. I'm telling you, man, Carnivore Edition.
Hey, I would pay good money. I would pay good money to watch that.
These two dudes, man. The only loser would be the Brazilian barbecue. The Brazilian steakhouse would be the only loser in that deal.
See, now one thing I know is that Rick would probably win, and here's why. Even though he's probably skinnier, and he's taller, he can take it all the way up to the top of his neck. He can go all the way, like, you know, the gas tank when you go all the way to the, like, where stuff's gurgling out the thing. He can do that. And then, you know, he might throw up just a little bit, you know, until it goes down a little bit, but he's going to top off. So I got my money on Rick because he's going to top off.
I can't tell you, brother. I cannot tell you.
So Rick isn't blackballed from Brazilian Steakhouse yet?
No.
Now, listen, the truth of the matter is we probably still be there if I didn't have to leave. I had to go because I had a family crisis. I had to haul all the way to North Carolina. My Pop Redden was dying. God, used to Pop Redden. But yeah, otherwise, because we, you know, it was a quick lunch and he hammered them. And but he'd have still been there, you know. I had to leave early. And that's the only reason, you know, Charlie ate more than he did, but we weren't time constrained with Charlie. Charlie had, he had more time. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know who could go longer, but it would be quite the show. Orbital Hub says if Americans went carnivore, multiple industries would collapse. There's no doubt about that.
I'll tell you who's another power eater. You know who's another power eater is Mike Seeley, United Carnivore, who lives in Tampa.
Really?
That guy, whenever I go, I've been with him twice, 2 different meetups, and we were at Brazilian steakhouses both times. I got to tell you, I mean, I don't know if he's quite in the league of Charlie or Quacker over here, but he's probably one notch below the Titans.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't believe it. I was like, Mike, how do you eat so? I can't believe how much meat that guy eats.
Yeah. Shout out to my man James Davis. I went to high school with James.
Nice.
Back in the 80s. And I was class of 87. I think he was class of 85.
Wow, you're in the same league as me then.
Long time ago.
Class of 86.
Old guys.
I was class of 1980.
Yeah. Good to see you, James. Glad you're doing all right, brother. Let's see here if there's anybody else. Any other questions? Or
I don't look too bad for class of 1980, do I? Look, I still got all my hair.
That's right.
I don't have my glasses, so it's not fair to judge.
I think you look great, Pete.
Thanks, man. You look good too.
It says my dental exams improved so much I reduced my appointments to once a year. I'm a good patient. That's just one of the ladies in the office. She was perplexed. Laughed eventually. Lori says, I won't be going to dentist anymore unless it's a serious issue. Yeah.
I haven't gone in 3 years since I've been 6 months before I went carnivore, really 3.5 years. I've had no reason to. My teeth are perfect.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
But they say that all that meat will make your teeth weak and rot.
I got to tell you, like, I used to have like bleeding gums and my teeth were like kind of loose a little bit and I would have sensitivity and stuff. Man, my teeth, I could bite into a brick.
Well, you see, I chew ice cubes all the time.
Yeah.
So which one is it sugar or meat? You know, so I thought sugar rotted your teeth. Now it's meat rots your teeth. There's no sugar in meat. So it's like, which one is it? Sugar and meat rot your teeth?
No, they got people saying if you don't get vegetables, you don't have calcium and your teeth get weak and all that other nonsense.
Yeah.
Well,
it doesn't pass the smell test. I mean, it's just a common sense test. You know, it's you know.
Don't get me started on common sense, please.
Well,
that's a whole other topic.
Yeah, here's the other thing that Bart K was going head to head with this one guy who was saying that eating meat caused all this acid and acidic stuff and turns into sulfuric acid and melts your bones. And I'm thinking, man, Rick must be a jellyfish.
I'm like, what are your bones made of? Your bones aren't made of glucose. They're not made of fiber. I mean, just like I said, none of it makes sense. It's like everything in your body is fat, protein, even your brain, like the whole cholesterol thing. You know, your brain is made of cholesterol and fat. So it's like, glucose is not a building block for anything in the human body. It's like,
you should see some of the bicycle crashes I've had. I had a coconut tree.
What, were you intoxicated? You had too much fat? I mean, how do you
No, the wheel came off.
Oh.
The sidewalk here has big, like some places are like that high, cracks, holes, and everything. And the wheel came off, and I went into the coconut tree. I hit it like the coyote chasing the roadrunner. And this lady, she was looking at me. There was people coming to see if I was okay, and I just got up off the ground, and I was mad, and I was looking for the wheel of the bicycle. Are you okay? Okay, yeah, I'm fine. Like, wow. They had some guy with this stupid skeleton diet. He fell off the bicycle and he's in the hospital. Another skinny vegan, probably just as skinny as me, except that I'm tough.
Yeah. James says doctors don't know about nutrition. You're exactly right. They're not taught that. Let me tell you what they're taught: medications, operations, compensations. that is the trifecta. Operate, medicate. Yeah, let's say
they're trained to treat symptoms with drugs. So they basically say, "Oh, what's the matter? What's your symptom?" "Oh, I've got a drug for that," and that's basically it. They don't get to the root core of the issue.
Yeah, and they keep doctors in line with the standard of care as well, because if you deviate from that, I mean, I'm obviously not a doctor, and I may not be exactly right, but they say, nowadays, when you go into the doctor, they type your symptoms into a computer, and the computer spits out what pill to give you. I mean, it's not even.
So why do they even need a doctor? They can just do
exactly.
AI.
That's what they were saying. It's like anybody can do that. It's like, okay, you got what problem? This problem, that problem.
That's why these doctors are stupid. These guys don't understand that they're about to literally get replaced by AI. So unless they actually do start to become healers, like Dr. Hampton, where he's a healer. I'm not a drug pusher like these other guys. I'm a healer.
I have a question for everybody that's listening, watching, and Peter and Rick, and I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
Russ.
The host, Russ. Okay, because you hit a good subject. My first question, I think my only question would be, what do you think of AI? Does it have some base as far as knowledge? Would you trust it if you ask it a question?
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard the expression garbage in, garbage out?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what kind of question are we talking here?
I'm just asking. No, I'm just asking.
Yeah, well, here's my opinion. If you feed this AI, which they do, all the conventional science that they now have talking about how cholesterol is bad for you, and just all this crap, and that's the stuff that's in the computer. When you ask it a question, oh my God, if I have high cholesterol, what should I do? What do you think it's going to do? It's going to tell you to take a statin. That it's going to tell you to avoid red meat and saturated fat. So my point is, if it's garbage in, you're going to get garbage out. So AI is a computer program. It's only as good as what you put in.
Okay, here's what I'm asking. So you're saying you do trust it as long as the input is of reasonable format, right?
Well, my answer to the question would be, we already do. There's not one of us who hasn't Googled something and taken it to be the answer.
Okay. Well, yes, but we can't answer for everybody. So, okay. So we all pretty much believe in AI. My two questions that I asked AI today, because I don't trust it. Can humans thrive on no cholesterol? Type that in and see what answer you get. The other is, will the human liver try to kill you with cholesterol? And see what answer you get.
Yeah.
And then you put that in, you take that answer. All this is combined knowledge.
But he's right. The moral of the story is, there's no such thing as artificial intelligence per se.
Right.
A computer is only going to do what it's told to do. So somebody had to tell that computer, or tell it where to find, maybe they tell it where to find the information. because that's what it's doing. If you say, hey, what's the capital of such and such a state, it's going to go out and find that answer and bring it to you. Now, wherever it went to find that answer, that's where the problem could be. So I guess what we're maybe saying in a roundabout way is there's no such thing as artificial intelligence. Is just that, artificial. It's giving you an answer that it got from someplace else. It's not giving you an answer that it came up with organically.
I am completely aware of that. But all of these naysayers pushing the agenda with cholesterol, with sugar, and this is better for you, and cholesterol is going to kill you. My big thing is cholesterol. Just like people saying that we're not carnivores. I typed in a few questions the other day, and I got the answer I wanted. The first 2 or 3 were close, but wasn't the answer I was looking for. But I finally, yesterday or today, I just asked 2 questions, these 2 questions, and the answer I got was basically saying that no, you need cholesterol to live.
Yeah.
You cannot live. So why would I want to lower my cholesterol? If I can't live without cholesterol, why would I want to lower it?
Well,
you know,
that's
yeah.
I won't go there. You know that the answer is, I mean, you can have too much of a good thing, but I don't know that anybody says that cholesterol, it's too much cholesterol is bad. It's not, we want to get your cholesterol to 0. We want to keep it in this narrow range, which of course we know is bull. But
again, that's like, okay, well, if you don't cut off your nose to spite your face.
Yeah.
And if everybody's cholesterol level, where everybody's different. And there is no standard for what's good and what's a good level and what's bad, because all the numbers they have are based on this crap that we've been fed for how many years. And that's okay. And that's where they're getting their numbers and saying, okay, well, this is the average. This is what it should be. No. What's good for you is not good for me.
Well, regarding
like
levels, like cholesterol levels, what Dr. Park K always says, he says, according to who and on the basis of what? According to who says that my cholesterol needs to be under 200 or LDL or whatever, and on the basis of what? What study? What are we going off of? And that's where AI is taking these, flawed studies, compiling them and aggregating them. But again, it's garbage in, garbage out. If you ask AI, if my cholesterol is over 200, my LDL is over 200, should I take a statin? What do you think it's going to say? It's going to be using those flawed studies to say, yes, you should.
That's why I stated those 2 specific questions you can type into AI. Anybody can do this. That's why spread the word. Don't let this nonsense these doctors tell you, because my cardiologist, before I fired him, he says, I want your LDL under 50.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you, what kind of crack are you smoking, dude?
I would tell you right now, get a different doctor. That's horrific.
I fired him.
No doubt about it. But here's a question I would have for you is, and I don't know, what's your first name?
Me? It's coming out anyways, Kurt.
Oh, Kurt, gotcha. So, but here's what I would say is, did they cite a source? Because a lot of times when you plug things into those AI machines, they will give you a source where they got the information from.
This is Chat GPT.
Gotcha.
I'm totally illiterate when it comes to these things. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm with you, because like if you go to Google or other places, and Gemini, I think, is what they call their AI now or something. And it'll give you the answer, and then it'll cite the source. It'll say from NIH or Mayo Clinic or blah 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 whatever.
Right.
So you can at least know who's putting out this ridiculous information.
Oh yeah.
Kurt, what's your screen name?
Meathead.
Oh, it's you. Okay, I thought it was somebody else who called in or something.
No,
I do a mix. It's like sometimes it's easier to call somebody by their
somehow
real name.
We can't see his video. It's black.
it's because I covered it.
Oh
yeah,
okay.
I was gonna say all we hear is audio there. Yeah. All right, we'll go back to the room here and see. Somebody said, Rick, are you going to be cooking some steaks tonight?
Well, I've already eaten, so no, but I think tomorrow night I will be. I just have to get them prepared. It's funny you mentioned the AI, because what I always said is, why don't you ask AI who's been on the carnivore diet the longest? I bet it won't tell it.
Man, there's some 80. There's a lady up in Canada that's 82 years old.
Yep, but they won't talk about the quack.
No, I'm messing with you.
I bet you anything I'm not in there.
There's some guy somewhere on the other side of the world. It's 103. That's been a carnivore for 103 years. It's gonna be like 40 years. That's nothing. I think Laurie had a question for Kurt, but go ahead.
Rick, I asked AI a question. I said, "Is it safe for humans to hunt iguanas in Miami?" And know what it came back with? Hell no.
It's not safe for the iguana.
That's funny.
There's a good reason why fruits only grow in certain seasons. Yeah, when I was a kid, you're right. You couldn't get that stuff all year round. It was just, certain seasons were certain fruits, and that was it. And the fruits were smaller and not as sweet. I mean, there was so many things different when we were kids. Mark says, "Hey everyone, how it goes? It's good to see you, brother. Glad you're here. Hope I didn't miss people. I try to catch
Mark?
you.
Long
Everybody
time
that
no
comes
see.
in. Welcome,
Mark. Way to go, man.
Let's see here. I know I missed some people. Probably. I apologize if I missed you. We've been having quite the conversation, and the late Dr. Bernstein. Don't forget these two. I guess. Nazo Russ makes an excellent point. Hey, listen, once per show, I say something intelligent. I try to, do the best I can.
Well, you know what they say, even a broken clock is right twice a day.
That's right. Well, I have a lot of practice because I've got a lot of vegetarians and vegans in my family, so I get a lot of practice there. Fair Grandma says she gets specific. I don't use the right hot sauce and the meat is seasoned, but chuck some hot dogs. Them, he's ecstatic. Oh, he's talking about somebody else. CB Carmack. I'm not going to lie. I love fruit, but I love my health better. I still eat from time to time. It's berry season, getting close to pear and apple, but after it's over, straight carnivore. Yeah, like I said, man, we don't judge here. If you're judgmental and you're all militant about, give me meat or give me death, this ain't the space for you. We want everybody to have optimal health, however they see fit. We're going to fight you about keeping your carbs low, your proteins and fats high. But man, you only go around this thing once, brother. If some berries are the help you get through this thing we call life, brother, God bless you.
Amen.
Hey, I made a joke. I made a joke one time. The only berries in my life are Ken and Nisha. So, Doc like that one. But, I'm more of I like vegetables. I mean, I don't eat very many. I season and I more season with them. I like a little bit of peppers and I like mushrooms. I like a few things, but I don't like eat a big plate of vegetables. But I do season with vegetables. I kind of garnish with vegetables from time to time, and I don't apologize for it. It's what it is. Just like coffee and cream, and some people are like, oh no, coffee, and other people like, well, I don't put cream in it. Man, listen, live your life. Keep the main thing the main thing. Keep them carbs low. Keep your proteins and fats high. That is the proper human diet. And the little other stuff, for some people, it's just something to argue about. Some people just like to argue. You know,
the only problem I have is I have to speak up and
sure.
say that if people say that, okay, I'm doing carnivore, it's not working for me, and I'll sneak in, the weekends are my cheat days, and I'll have a few beers on the weekend. That right there, for me, it's total, you're setting yourself up for failure. And I don't have, honestly, I don't have time, especially when you've spoken to the person several times, and just explain to them that the alcohol turns into sugar, and then the sugar is taken up versus the nutrients from the food, and you're losing out, and it messes up your gut biome.
Listen,
you know what?
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Kurt, soon after going carnivore, I completely lost all interest in alcohol. Like, I just felt so much better without it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a very strange thing. I was never like a really big drinker, just maybe a social drinker. I was never an alcoholic or had problems with alcohol, but I definitely like to have some beers and stuff. And I, drank wine and stuff. Wasn't really a hard liquor person, but you know what?
Right.
As soon as I went carnivore, I just felt, when I would go drink, early on, I felt terrible. Like I would only have like one or two drinks, and I would be like hungover, like from one or two drinks. I don't know what it was, but it seemed like the cleaner you got with food, the more, like, if you drank alcohol, it would affect me so much more. It would almost be like I downed a 6-pack, or something. Right. I don't know why.
It says years ago, a lady at a barbecue made me laugh when she was offered salad. No, thank you. I'm not pretending. I didn't like it. Some people, Kurt. I mean, my stance has always been the same. Some people are hard line, man. I don't care what it is. I don't care whether it's diet, politics, religion. That's called being a human being, and it's human nature to want to kind of rank yourself and try to outdo other people. Well, I'm this or I'm that, and I'm better than. That's human nature. I don't look at it as a good thing or a bad thing. It's a human being thing. So there's always somebody out there that's going to be trying to out carnivore the next guy. It's like, well, you still use pepper. You're not carnivore like me. Okay, if that makes you feel good about yourself, great. I think there's a main thing, and then there's ancillary things.
Well,
and
no,
everybody kind of has their own way.
I understand. Well, I don't walk the path that they're walking, and vice versa.
Yeah.
But when they constantly, it's like, okay, if I still smoked, but complained about a cough,
right,
and complained about the issues that my smoking was causing.
Gotcha.
But hey, I'm not going to quit smoking because I like it.
So what you're saying is, let me make sure I understand you clear, because I don't want to misrepresent. What you're saying is the people who say, "Oh, carnivore doesn't work," or "it didn't work for me," but you're saying they weren't really doing it. They were, half doing it and saying it didn't work for them. That's what you have a problem with.
No. This situation is where people that refuse to give up, they will complain about carnivore not working, but they refuse to give up these vices that are affecting. And when it's been explained to these people that this could be the problem, you need to eliminate that, then they do that for a couple of weeks. Oh yeah, it works, but I'm not going to give it up.
Right.
And you're like, okay, I was cool with it, but the person just went off the rails.
Just remember, Kurt, addiction is a very powerful thing. And no matter what you say, and they can think they're doing carnivore, but then they go and binge on that, and because they're addicted to alcohol, whatever it might be, or smoking, whatever it is. And it's addiction is a very strong thing. I mean, if I try to have a little bite of chocolate, like a chocolate bar, man, I'm going to be off the reservation for a week. I was
an alcoholic. I'm an alcoholic. Okay. I was, I don't know, 19, and I started drinking, and I think once I became disabled, once I started working and I was doing speed at work, I was drinking like a pint within 5 miles. I'd stop at the store, and in 5 miles I would have that pint down. I'd sleep. This is what I was doing. I was a working alcoholic. Well,
right.
up until 2015, my drinking persisted to get worse. I could easily down a fifth of whiskey and not be drunk.
Wow.
And my drinking got to the point where I was drinking as soon as I got up in the morning, and I was drinking 2/5 of whiskey a day before I went to bed. 2/5. And what took me, and it's not going to come out in my interview, but what stopped me drinking was the day that I got up, went out, having my neat whiskey, and I took a sip, and then I had to go to the side of the garage, and I puked my guts up. I'm like, okay. So I went in the house, rinsed my mouth out, came back out. Didn't stop me. I had another sip, and I sit there. I finished about half the cup, and I got sick again, but beside the garage. But this time I puked up blood. That was it. Done. So yeah, I know addiction. Trust me. I lost my first wife because I was addicted to speed. It's the things people say I'm not addicted. Well, if you refuse to stop because you like it, there's an addiction there, and you need to come to terms with it.
Yeah, well, sugar. I got news for you. My addiction was sugar. That was my lifelong addiction, was sugar and carbs. There's no doubt in my mind. Had I kept going the way I was going, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. There's no way.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Let me get your opinion on this, sir. What is the difference between addiction and just liking something, even though you know it's not the best for you? I mean, what's tell me where the line is on that. Obviously, if you're willing to rob your grandma to get it, okay,
Well, if you can't stop, it's an addiction.
Yeah,
that's what I was trying to explain to them, is that you flat out said I am not going to give this up because I like it. Mm-hmm. Well, but you're not addicted, really? Okay.
So you're saying there's no such thing?
I'm not.
If your life depended on it, you're saying that they couldn't do it even if they wanted to.
That's what they need to do. I told them that you need to hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to have to do. It's what it took. I mean, that's what it took for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what my rock bottom was when I walked into my doctor's office, and he told me that I'm a full-blown diabetic, and he was going to want to put me on insulin. And, my late father-in-law, God bless him, he ended up, with no legs, both legs amputated, 5 fingers amputated, 7 years on dialysis, almost blind, and in 24/7 pain with no legs in a wheelchair over a 7-8 year period, descent into hell. Diabetes is no joke, people. Anyone who's watching, if you've ever watched somebody with end-stage diabetes who goes through, like Thomas was on his way to target prime rib. You guys know Thomas. But he was on his way. He lost all the toes on one foot, and he lost most of the bone in his other heel, in his other foot. I mean, this guy was on his way to losing his legs and probably going blind and maybe going on dialysis. And he was in a wheelchair. He was in a wheelchair. He's out of the wheelchair now, and he's down like half of his insulin. He's going to be off insulin by his birthday in September. But I mean, that's what set me straight, because I saw that vision of my late father-in-law, and I said, that is not going to be me. And that's the only thing that's, because I knew I was pre-diabetic for many years, and I blew it off. I thought, well, okay, well, I'm not diabetic. Whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't understand how bad a thing that was.
There's no such thing as pre-diabetic. I don't believe in it. I know others. We've talked about that on the show before. Even Doc Nelson. It's like going to the doctor with a cough and a runny nose, and he's telling you you're pre-flu. No, you got the flu. It just hasn't got you yet, and that's what pre-diabetes is. But like I said, man, my problem is with judgment. I don't like judgment. I don't like being around judgmental people. We all have to chart our own path. And I'm comfortable with the hardliners. I'm comfortable with the looser people. I'm comfortable with keto people. I'm comfortable with carnivore people. I think that we keep the main thing. And if I grill up some mushrooms and some butter and put them on my steak, I don't want to hear some guy tell me, you ain't carnivore. I think one time Dr. Berry said, if a lion kills an antelope and drags him through the woods and it's got a bunch of leaves and grass and he say he don't pick it out.
No, he don't.
He just eats it. So I don't know, but like I said, to each his own. I don't have any problem with anybody, man. People have to do what works for them, and if that guy, was eating 1,000 carbs a day, and 500 calories, and had all kind of health problems, and he's lost his weight and feels good and likes to have a beer on the weekend, dude, God bless that guy. I mean, I just don't, I don't. It's just not my nature.
Yeah, I understand. This is my problem.
Yeah, I hear you. The other thing too, some people have to, and I've learned that, and that's one of my biggest problems, honestly, and with my struggles is that, I talk to people all the time, like, oh my God, if I eat, one piece of this or that, I feel like I fell off a roof. It's like,
Oh yeah.
And I don't have that. I was never sickly. I didn't start this way of living because of any illness. I've never spent a night in the hospital. I've never taken a medication other than antibiotic. I didn't have any problems that I knew of, medically. I slept good, lived my life. I was just heavy. And so, that was, my reason for doing this. So I don't, if I eat stuff that I don't normally eat, I don't really, I get sleepy. That's something that happens to me, but I don't feel bad. And I wish I did. I wish I had some food allergies or something.
No, you don't.
It would probably slow me down some. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes I'm jealous. I'm like, if I had a food allergy, maybe it wouldn't be so easy to fall off the wagon. I need.
Sorry, my dog's being a snot.
No, it's cool. You're good. Hey, we have dogs, cats. Come on. Is your dog I'm guessing the dog's a carnivore?
Well, I tried to, but my dog was making a mess with the carnivore, and my wife is like, "No, this isn't going to happen."
Cooked or raw?
Cooked.
Now, some people might say I've heard people say that. And you listen, Rick would know way more about this than I ever would, but I've heard people say that the cooked food is when you cook the meat, that's the problem. You feed it to them raw. What do you know about that, Rick?
Well, and I know with cats, they need taurine, which is destroyed by cooking.
Right.
We can make our own, but I give my cat raw meat. I don't really give him cooked meat.
Now, do you give it? Is it leaner than what you would eat? Because I hear
Yes.
the fat content will destroy their gut.
Fat will give them diarrhea. Cats
Right.
get diarrhea from fat. They're not able to process it.
Okay, so you want leaner protein.
Yes.
You hear that?
They can eat organs. Liver is good for them, but don't give them a lot of fat because they will get diarrhea. I gave my cat the stuff that I ate, which was too fatty. My other cat, and he had terrible diarrhea. I mean, it was like soup. It was terrible. So I cut back on the fat, and he was fine.
Well, Bob had an issue with his dog, and he is pretty sure the pancreatitis was caused from the meat that he was feeding him was too fatty.
Could be. They can't tolerate a lot of fat. I mean, in the wild, they pretty much avoid it. I mean, they only eat lean animals. They eat mice and birds, and all that stuff's lean.
Yeah, and they don't cook it.
They don't cook it.
You know, Doctor, I didn't know this. I guess I should have known it, but you know, pets suffer from a lot of the same, you know, diseases that we have. And I was listening to Dr. Seaford one time, the cancer researcher, talking about all the things he's been doing with animals and healing them of cancer and putting them on ketogenic diets and the whole 9 yards because they eat basically like we do. If you look at the dog foods and stuff, it's a lot of grains and, you know, sugars and wheat and corn and fillers and just garbage. It's processed food. And so, you know, he's been doing the same thing with people's pets that he's been doing with the humans and seeing great results. So,
well, I know what my dog had for dinner tonight.
A T-bone.
My dog had T-bone steak tonight for dinner.
All right, I'm gonna go. Guys. Sorry about this.
Hey, nice to meet you, Kurt. Appreciate you being
here.
Yes,
glad you were here.
Thanks.
All right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, my dog had some nice lean T-bone.
Nice.
And I like, you know, I cook it pretty rare in the center, so I wouldn't say it's raw, but it's pretty damn rare in the middle. And so I try and give her the most rare parts.
That's good.
Yeah, she's 14. My dog's 14. She's got no teeth, not one tooth left. And she's a 9-pound Maltipoo. She looks like a little white toy poodle. And man, she jumps higher than a dog that's twice her height. And she runs around like a 1-year-old puppy with more energy than you can. No one in their wildest dreams thinks this dog is 14 with no teeth. But you know, I think it's the meat. You know
how long my cats usually live?
20 years.
18 to 21 years.
Yeah, so about 20 years.
20 years, that's about how long we've been doing this show. Family, we have, listen, I'm glad that we had an extended edition. We had an extended edition of the Keto Cook tonight, man. We had the it's like a season finale or something, a special 90-minute edition. Man, I hope you guys had a good time. I think we had great conversation tonight. I enjoyed it, and I always do. I'm so sorry if you had a comment or something in the chat or a question and I did not mention it. I see Cindy there. I was just talking about you the other day, Cindy. They're doing a meetup in Ohio in August 23rd. For those who may or may not know, I don't know if it's been announced yet. Columbus, Ohio meetup at Carrie, of course. The Healing Humanity team is behind that. It'll be coming out with that. It's August 23rd in Columbus, Ohio. And somebody asked me, I'm like, you know what, Cindy DeManch may be interested in that. So I was thinking of you, my dear, the other day, and I hope you're well and your sister and everybody. But in any event, we have fulfilled our contractual obligations once again to the family for the week. And I have some thawing ground beef that is calling my name out there. I can hear it. So we're going to be doing a little bit of that tonight. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me on another Tuesday. Had a great time as always. We look forward to it. We'll see you next Tuesday. Anything you want to plug, Rick, or anything like that coming up on your channel?
Just the usual Saturday morning at 8 with Rick. That's about it.
Yep. You guys know where to find our brother there. And once again, appreciate you. We'll be back next Tuesday with another edition of the Keto Cookout with our good friend, my beautiful sister, Laura Russell, will be here. Hopefully we'll see you then. Until then, keep your carbs low, your proteins and your fats high, and we will see you all on the next one.
That's it.